Hello, my fellow geeks and gamers, and welcome to an episode of Game Master's Banter, in which I'll be talking about something that is very dear to my heart, yet always a very interesting topic of discussion, which is the option for player versus player combat. There's always the question, should a Game Master allow this? Should there be rules involved? Is there something that needs to be done or an action that needs to be provoked before something like this should be allowed? And with player versus player combat, I refer to the willing and conscious intent to kill or cause harm to another player's character. This could be the healer backstabbing the rogue instead of healing him, or the paladin throwing the rogue into jail for actions and crimes committed in the eyes of the paladin. It is very, very difficult to manage these things, and as I discussed in my session 0 video, party conflict and party interaction is very important. You need to find a good click in everything. Without the click, you can't run a proper adventure. You can run an adventure, definitely, but it won't be smooth. And when things are smooth, you can throw higher things at them, better things. You can increase the difficulty of the task. Player versus player combat, player versus player initiation, initiatives, whatever. In my campaigns, my adventures, my sessions, I allow it. I allow it under the strict guidance of me ruling over it. Enough is enough when it is enough. If a character has an in-game proper reason to hold a grudge against another, and it is wholly within background, character concept, or even the current story arc that he betrays his party member, why shouldn't he? If you are already delving into the evil thoughts of a bandit, why not go the whole way and take down a paladin, or a lawbringer, or the goody-goody two-shoes wizard who can't shut up about the rules? But when a paladin decides it is time to kill a party member with his only reason, he looks at me funny, then there's going to be a definite response from the universe. If there's an alignment system or a morality tier system, it'll definitely shift downwards. If there is a mechanic where the gods are always observing the actions of all men of holy conviction, then the gods will have something to say about this. But what of men without faith? What if the wizard decides it is time to blow up the city that the rest of the party currently resides in, to be absolutely sure that the party is dead? How would anyone react to this? Now, there's always room for table talk. There's always room to ask the player, why are you doing this? What is your character's idea behind doing this? If he can't explain it, his character just doesn't do it. It's that simple. At least the way I rule things. Everyone has their own view and opinion on it. And it, like I mentioned, it is a very difficult subject. A very difficult thing to discuss. I've played many an adventure where I was the stealthy archetype. The one that sneaks around and stabs people in the back, takes their money, and then just goes back to town, sells whatever loot there is, and then continue this cycle over and over until I found a party willing to have me stick around and see my usage as a scout or trapsmith, or even one capable of removing traps. But when it comes to killing party members, I tend to keep note of chances. I give everyone 3 chances. If they do something that is wholly against me as a character, they will lose a chance. When all chances are gone, it is time to take swift and fortuitous action towards the removal of this inconvenience in my lifestyle. But when they perform something that is in my favor, they gain a notch. They gain an extra chance. And I suggest that most people work with this tiered system to keep proper track of how your character would react to whomever in the party doing whatever they do. If there's an alignment system, comparable alignment might be something to keep track of as well. But there are a lot of systems that don't have a track of alignment, morality, justification of actions, or what have you. And even then, when there's no way to keep track of morality, when, for instance, you are a lawless follower of a goddess of death, and there's a healer in the party who keeps bringing up undead. Because, in my opinion, I'll discuss it in a later video, but healing and necromancy go hand in hand because they both control the flow of life and death. But when the healer summons yet another undead, or raises another corpse as his unseen or even seen minion, it is time to ask a few questions, and if the questions are not answered in a pleasing way to whatever side is asking or answering the questions, it is time to write down a few notches. When it is time for table talk, which is out of game talk on the table about how the adventure went, how the session flowed, interaction between characters, or certain notes, it might be smart to bring up these notes, like, oh, I'm sorry, but my character really didn't like what you were doing there, or my apologies for stealing your stuff, but I really needed it for this and this reason. See if you can work out the flaws intricate in the group out of game before you resolve them in game. Because the last thing we want is a party going at each other because there's an out of game conflict that would not carry over to the actual game. Some game masters have a solution to this very problem, a solution that they take way too soon, way too fast, in my opinion. Like I mentioned, this is just my opinion, and I am not here to lecture anyone in anything, but they use a TPK, a total party kill. They find some way to kill the entire party to remove all conflict and have a fresh start. I really do not like using a total party kill. I don't even like it when a player character dies in one of my adventures. I want the party as it is in the start to continue. Of course, there's the unforeseen circumstances of the universe and the dice gods willing the death of whatever character, or a player decides that the group really isn't for him, or whatever reason for the exit of a character. That is all beyond. A total party kill should never be intended. It should always be an accidental roll of the dice. That is what we use dice for. But when it is intended, it is time to have a conversation at the table with everyone as equals, not players and game master, not characters and gods, but person to person to person to person. Have a conversation about why a total party kill is the only useful solution to resolve this conflict. Always find the better way. Always find the way forward. I think in all of my adventures that I have mastered, that I have had no more than 4 total party kills. And even when it comes to player kills, my track record could go no higher than 30 in over a decade of running adventures. Even as a player, I think there are like 10 characters of mine who have actually died. One of them died because he thought that at a very low level he could face up to a dragon in its lair. Didn't end well. Before I rolled initiative I was already dead. But that is what my character would have done. And that is the only reason there should be a willing player kill. When the character would challenge the dragon, have the dragon respond in kind. The dragon could laugh in the face of this measly challenge, or it could react the way it would. Dinner time. But yeah, getting back on track. Player kills, total party wipes, PvP. Is it okay? Is it not okay? It is a discussion for your table and your game master. If your party agrees with the way it works, then that's the way it works. If there's no agreement, it is time to talk. Or maybe just show them this video or any other video that discusses it. Show them a piece of paper as to why your character would consider killing party members as a good idea. Or perhaps the healer of the party completely disagreeing with anyone attacking anyone else that is not either unfriendly or harmful to him personally or her in whatever way or form. Discuss this, talk about it, and enjoy a good game. This has been Game Master's Banter. I am still Game Master Amy, and until next time, keep rolling.